Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I want to talk about a little piece of gear that I've had here. We got the Icon 1000 Varial riding boots. So these are my first pair of riding boots that I've owned. I have owned them for a few months now. I'm a fairly new rider, so when I went to go look for gear, I was kind of on a budget, right? So, because I needed to get everything all at once. And I happened to find these boots at Revzilla. They were only $90, and it kind of was filling the voids that I felt like I needed. So right before I bought these, I had had an incident where I put my bike down and I had almost broken my ankle. It wasn't that great. I planted my foot down. The bike was already too far leaned over. So my ankle ended up folding over on itself. It didn't break, but I did hear a pop. It sounded really weird, but it didn't break, luckily. And then the peg from the bike actually jabbed into my Achilles and partially ruptured my Achilles tendon. So what I was looking for was mostly ankle support was what I really wanted. Now these boots have a D3O insert around the ankle up here on the top part. It's not much. I was expecting it to be a little thicker, a little stiffer, but it is there. It does offer protection. I imagine if I had these on when I went down and the peg were to jab into my leg like it did, I would imagine this would actually protect it, because this was exactly where the peg kind of dug into my Achilles. And like I said, it's just thick enough to where I felt like it probably would have dulled it a little bit to where I wouldn't have been as bad as it was. But the boots are great. For a $90 boot, because that's all they were, $90 at Revzilla, I don't have a whole lot of complaints, but I do have some complaints. So before I get to those complaints, let's go over some more of the features of what this boot's doing for protection. So not only does it have the D3O up at the top, there's a shank that goes into the boot on the sole here that'll actually prevent you from, if the bike were to fall over on your foot, this will prevent it from crushing. It's not going to fold in and crush your foot. So you can see this hard plastic piece here. That's actually a shank that goes into the sole here, and that just gives you that protection so you don't crush your foot. You also got that same type of protection right back here on the heel. So if your bike were to fall on the back of your heel, that's going to keep it from crushing in on you. It's really stiff. I don't imagine it crushing in on you. So as far as protection goes, that is really where it ends. You know, we don't have anything in the toe. We do got quite a bit of movement, so it is a good walking boot. You can casually wear this, no problem. It's not super stiff. There are no type of pucks though inside the ankle area. Like I said, it's just that D3O padding that's embedded within the leather. Minimal protection at best, but it is protection. It's better than a tennis shoe or even a work boot. Now the cons that I'm having, other than the minimal protection, I did have, you know, obviously this is a brown boot. This con doesn't portray to me because I like the way brown leather wears and gets dirty. I don't know, I'm weird, but I do like the way that looks. But if you are so inclined to not like that, they do make these boots in black, because you can kind of see it gets scuffed up pretty good. It's got some scratches, and you can see the toe here. It's pretty dirty from shifting, you know. So if that bugs you, maybe get the black boot. Like I said, I like the way brown leather wears over time, and the way it just, the distressed look, I just like the way it looks. And even with the black scuffs, you clean it enough, it all kind of rubs in, blends in a little bit. I like the way that looks. So that's a con for some people. For me, not necessarily. Now, where my cons step in is the kind of the quality of some of the things. The shoelaces, not a big deal because you can replace your shoelaces if you have issues with them, but you can see that they're wearing out rather fast. You know, I've only had these boots for a few months, and these laces look like they've got a few more times before they snap on me. So there's that. One other issue I did have is these rings where the laces tie through the boots. One of them actually came out completely. You can see here where I had to fasten the lace through the leather itself because the ring just popped out completely. An issue, but not the end of the world. You know, like I said, if it pops out on you, you can always put it through the leather and it's still tieable. It's still a usable boot. It's just unfortunate that happened. You would expect a little bit more quality, you know, especially out of Icon. You know, I feel like they're one of the more reputable brands as far as motorcycle gear goes, so I expected a little bit better out of that. And then the last real con really is this strap up top. It's just a leather strap. You feed it through here and it's got this little nipple thing that you place your strap into. Well, after a while, the holes on your straps, they wear, and when it's on the nipple, it just doesn't feel like it's got the greatest of grab. Like right now it still grabs, but I don't know. I feel like eventually that hole is going to wear out a lot more, and it's really not going to be much of a useful boot, or the strap won't be much of a use at that point. Would I recommend this boot? Yeah, I would recommend this boot. I would recommend this boot for a new rider, a beginning rider, someone who was like me and needed to buy all of their gear all at once. You know, I do not recommend this as a long-term boot. This was definitely going to be a short-term boot. You know, I'll get my first riding season out of it, and then I will probably upgrade. With, you know, the rings popping out, the laces falling apart, and the holes on the strap, for sure it's gonna wear. So it wasn't made to be a long-term boot, in my opinion. But it is definitely a good boot for, like I said, a beginner. Somebody who needs something to just get out there. You know, this got me on the road. It got me riding. I was able to save some money, and I've got that protection. I feel like if I had these boots before, when I had my bike go down, my ankle probably still would have hurt, but it wouldn't have been as bad as it was. These boots work for me though. They do work, and I will continue to use them for the rest of the year before I upgrade. But $90 on Revzilla, guys, like, for something that goes up the ankle a little bit, it's casual looking and has enough play to where you can walk around in these comfortably. You know, that was one of the other big factors that I wanted out of these, was something that was casual. You know, I don't want to have to change my shoes every time I ride my bike. You know, I want to be able to just get off, walk around, do my thing, get back on and ride. Like, that's just what I wanted to do. So that's why I chose these boots. And I do not regret the choice, because, like I said, $90 is nothing. And it gets me out there riding. So I don't have much else I can say. I do recommend the boot for a short term for a new rider. But I can't recommend for a long term. So, but I will have more gear reviews coming out. I will have, I got gloves, helmets, jackets. I want to review it all. So I will come back with those. So stay tuned. And until then, ride safe, guys. Thanks.